Hello there guys, welcome back to another tutorial. Today we are going to look at PHP Basics. We are going to get started on PHP fundamentals. So let's get started. So we have been doing Laravel framework here and there, but I thought of us doing PHP since Laravel is written in using PHP programming language, so it's good we also look at PHP so that as you progress with the framework your understanding of PHP is at a good place. So let's get started. So here I've opened my text editor, which is VS Code. You can also use any text editor of your choice, but I'm using VS Code. So that's where we're going to get started. So we're going to look at PHP Basics, and yeah, you'll be able to understand what is PHP. Get you started by writing your first program in PHP, and yeah, and then at least you'll be able to understand the basic fundamentals of PHP, so that even as you progress to a framework, you are good and you're able to understand the PHP language. Now, what is PHP? So PHP stands for Hypertext Preprocessor, and PHP is widely used. It's an open source scripting language. In other words, PHP scripts are executed on the server, and PHP is free to download and use. So what is a PHP file? So PHP files can contain HTML, JavaScript code, and PHP code. So PHP code are executed on the server, and the result is returned to the browser as plain text. So PHP PHP have a default extension of .php file. So you write your file with the .php. So for example, you can have a file like conduct.php, form.php, index.php, and so forth. So they have an extension of .php. So what else do we have here? Now we also what can PHP do for you? So you're able to create dynamic page content. You can create the CRUD functionality, that is the create, open, read, write, and close files on the server. As well, PHP can be used to collect form data, send and receive cookies, add, delete, modify your data in your database, and as well you can use PHP to do middleware, whereby you're able to restrict users from accessing certain pages on your website. And as well, you can also use PHP to encrypt data, in other words, to hide data from other people being able to see. In other words, you can hide particular data for some people not to be able to see, and so forth. So why PHP? So PHP runs on different platforms. So we have Windows, Linux, Unix, and Mac OS. So it's compatible with almost all servers, Apache, IAS, etc. So in our case, we are going to use the Apache, that is the XAMPP, which is the very simple and easy to install PHP with, and to get started. So PHP has support of wide range of databases, and as well it is free to download. So the official page for PHP download is www.php.net, and yeah, so PHP is easy to learn and efficiently runs on the server. So how can we set up PHP on our own PC? So we are going to install a server, and then this web server is going to come with PHP installed and MySQL installed at the same time. So what we can do here, since I already have XAMPP installed in my computer, so you may want to come here. Okay, so here I have XAMPP installed, but what you need to do here, you just need to come here. So come to your browser and then type XAMPP. So you can see we have XAMPP just click enter and you're good to go. Alright, so so what you can do now, since I already have XAMPP installed, but you just need to come and click here and just open that page and then just look for it opens. Okay, so now here that's the website. So what you can do, XAMPP for Windows, so go for, if you're on Windows, just go for Windows on this particular tab, that is, just come for Windows, XAMPP for Windows. So now come for the latest PHP. Now the latest PHP should be 8.1.16. so you can come for it. So the XAMPP has the PHP installed and MySQL for database, so you can have the two installed together using just XAMPP as your web server. So just hit this one and it will download for you. If you are using Linux, just come for this one and then just hit download. I don't know, for Linux you may have some commands to use, but it should be a straightforward thing. For OS X, okay, for the guys who are using OS X, you can also come here and just pick the latest, and that is okay, this is for the Mac guys. Okay, so this is for the Mac guys, so just come and download that one. So for mine, I already have it installed, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to start the Apache and the MySQL, the two of them, and then I'm good to go. So just once the XAMPP installed, especially for Windows, this is how you'll be able. So just come and open the XAMPP control panel and start the two, and you're good to go. Alright, so that's how you can set up PHP on your own PC very fast, and you get started using PHP. So let's look at PHP Basic PHP Syntax. So here we have okay, so a PHP script can be placed anywhere in the document. So, and a PHP script starts with the angle bracket with a question mark and ends with question mark and closing angle tag. It should be a tag, not bracket, a tag. So what we mean here is that you can embed PHP anywhere in your HTML file. Especially you can embed your PHP anywhere, because PHP is a web application programming language that is used to develop web application. So you can place PHP anywhere and you are good to go. Remember, we have said the default extensions for PHP files is .php. Okay, so now this is an example, so let's just get started. So this is a basic syntax for PHP. Now what we can do here, since I already am using VS Code, so you need to come to, so if you have installed XAMPP, you need to come to the place where you have installed. It may be a local disk C, so forth. For mine is just in the local disk F, which is softwares, and then come to htdocs. So XAMPP, and then come to htdocs. Now in htdocs is where you're going to create all your PHP projects. So this is where you're going to create all your PHP projects. Now you need to know that here we have, for example, here I've been doing tutorials on Laravel, right? So you can see I also have Laravel projects here, because even with Laravel you still use the XAMPP for also doing Laravel projects, since Laravel is a PHP based framework. So the same thing, so you can also come and still create your PHP projects here. So here you just come, create a folder, and for my case I'd already created one, so you can see this one here, PHP programming. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come and open this particular folder. So just come to your VS Code here and click on file. So just click on file. Okay, so click file and then look for that particular folder. So here it should be, okay, so here, Okay, so this is software, and then XAMPP. So look for XAMPP, and then htdocs, and then come to PHP programming. Remember that file I had created. Alright, so and that's all in now you can start writing your PHP project. You can see I'd already done some, but let me delete this one so that you can start afresh. So here, let me just delete that one, and as well, so let me just delete that one. It's going to delete, and as well, let me delete this other one, like that. So okay, so now let's go back to the slide. So now we are on the comments in PHP. So how do we write comments in PHP? So we can have something like this. So let me see what's happening. Okay, so now we are done. So now PHP comment. So how do we write comment? So in PHP we have two types of comment. We have a comment line, which is just on one particular line, and then we have a multi-line comment, whereby you comment a piece of block of code or particular letters, or whichever block of words you're commenting. This one you find that mostly even in Laravel it's normally there. So what you need to do here, for example, so this one is just easy. Okay, so if we copy this one, and let me so here what we're going to do, I'm just going to create one file here, so index.php, and then here, for example, if I paste this one, you can just see now what we are talking about. So this is one line comment, and then this one is a multi-line comment, just like that. So this is what we refer to as a comment line, and then a PHP comment block if you are commenting a particular block. So we are going to see this one as we continue. Now the next one is okay, so now we are done with that one. It's just easy as that. So what are PHP variables? So a variable is a data storage unit that is used to store particular data in any programming language, because variables are used almost in every programming language. There is a variable. So if you are coming from Python, you are coming from Java, C, C++, you have dealt with variables, and the same thing applies to PHP. So in PHP we have rules for variables, which applies to almost every programming language out there. So here, rules for PHP variables, we have something like a variable starts with a $sign. That is in PHP. We always start with a $sign followed by the name of the variable. So a variable name must begin with a letter or the underscore character. As well, a variable name can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscore, as you can see here, A to Z, 09 and underscore. A variable name should not contain spaces, and then variable names in PHP are case sensitive. So y, small y, and capital Y are two different variables. So just take note of this. You just need to learn. So let's do examples so that you can understand more. So how do you create and declare variables? So here you can have, for example, something like so you can have something like this. So here, so let's remove our multi-line, our comment. So you can have something like that. I don't know, I'm thinking of, let's just take that one out and this one out. So here we can have, I don't know, let's see if we can have something like, okay, this one will not work here in PHP. So txt is equals to hello world and x is equals to 5. So we are just declaring a variable and assigning a value to it, declaring a variable and assigning an int value to it. So this is how we declare variables in PHP. You can see here, for example, we have said it starts with a $sign followed by the variable name, And then as well, you can also have something like what can you have? We have said you can also have 0 to 9 underscore, so you can have something like underscore. So I think, let me see if this one works. You can have something like that, underscore like that. And as well, okay, variable name must begin with a letter or underscore character. We have checked that one. They are also case sensitive. So for example, if you had, for example, txt like this one, and you copy and paste the same thing here, and you have something like this one. So these ones, they are two different variable. They are two different things, so they will be treated differently in PHP. So you can't have them like that. Okay, so how do we run our PHP program? So what we are going to do here is that we are going to come here to XAMPP, come to htdocs, because we can't run PHP like how we run our HTML and CSS. So PHP programming, click on PHP programming. So here we are going to find index, which is our first file we have created. So now you can see this URL. So where we have XAMPP htdocs, since our XAMPP is a local server within our computer, it has what we refer to as a loopback IP address, the 127.1.1.0.0.1. So what we are going to do here, we are going to come here and then run 127. For example, if I run 127, it's going to show me the XAMPP installation, which is already installed in my case. So if you have installed XAMPP, just type 127.0.0.1, and then if it brings you this, then now you are good to go. Your XAMPP is correctly installed. Now, so how do we run the PHP program? So here you just come and locate PHP. You can now see, since I had already run this folder before, it is just automatically bringing it. So here what you need to do, type this one, the loopback address, the name of the folder, and then afterwards the file. So our file here is what is index.php. So here I just need to indicate index.php, and then I click run. So now we are good to go. Let me just close this one. So okay, so now we just need to so I'm going to use echo, which is a print statement in PHP. We are going to look at it as we continue. So echo the underscore txt, I think should, let's, okay, so let's see if this one is working. Okay, so hello world. So hello world. So as I've said, you can use underscore, but for example, let's just remove them. It was just for illustration. And as well, you can also use you can also print x, which is 5, like that. So we have two variables printed together. So we have x and 5. Sorry, we have hello world and 5. Alright guys, so that's how you print, that's how you print your variables in PHP, like that. Okay, now so now let's look at something more advanced, or let's continue now. Okay, so PHP is a loosely typed language. What do we mean? Now, PHP, for example, when you look at other programming languages, we have what we refer to as data types: the int, the string, the we have the boolean, just the long int, and so forth. So we have such data types. Now, for you, for example, in C, for you to declare a variable, if it's a number, you have to use, for example, int. If it is a string, for example, hello world, for example, look at hello world here. This one is a string, but we have not declared this one as string is equals to hello world. what we have done, we have just defined a variable randomly and declared. Now what happens is that PHP is a loosely typed language, to mean that PHP automatically, look at this point, PHP automatically converts the variable to the correct data type depending on its value. So here you don't need to come here and, for example, indicate something like this one is a string like that. You don't really need to do so, or have this one is an int like that. No. So what PHP does is that it just knows, okay, this is a string, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to convert it as a string automatically. So that's what we refer to as PHP is a loosely typed language. Okay, so what are PHP variable scopes? So let's continue. So PHP variable scopes are the scope of a variable is the part of the script where the variable can be referenced or used. So you can reference variables in PHP using variable scopes, and in PHP there are 4. So we have local, global, static, and parameter. So the first one is the local scope. So what is a local scope? So it's a variable declared within PHP function and is local and can be accessed within that function. So local scope is simply a local variable. If you have dealt with other programming languages like JavaScript, you learn that a local variable is a variable that is declared within a function. So for example, in this case, we have we have something like this. So here we have let me take this one out. So here we have in something like this. So x is 5 becomes global because it is declared outside this function, and then this one is local because it is declared within the function. Now if I save and run, I'm going to get an error. Why? Because x is a defined variable. Now you can see we are trying to access a variable which is not defined. So what we can do here, we can bring this one, take this one out from there, and have it there, something like that. And this one should be somewhere there. And if now we save and run this program, things should come back to normal. So that's what we refer to as a local variable declared within. So this is all local because they are within this particular function. So this function is, and we are going to look at function, but just know how we declare function is function and function name, and then my test is when we call the function. So we are going to look at that as we continue about functions. Now what is global scope? Is simple. We have said a variable that is defined outside any function is a global variable. So in this case, you can see in this example here, you can see something here. So if I take this one out and I try to, okay, so here we have that, and then we have this one that is, sorry, we have this one that is remaining. So here we have something like this. So what we have here is that here we have in the global scope or the global variable. They are declared outside the function, and then you need to know something here. For you to be able to use a global variable, you have to access a global variable here, you need to do what? You need to use a global keyword. So here you can see here I'm using a global keyword here to say that x and y are global, because now they are being defined within the function, so they could be easily interpreted as local variables. So we have to use the global keyword, or else if we remove the global keyword, we'll have an error because they are now within the function. So this is just a simple program just to add two numbers, so whereby we are declaring x is 5, y is 10, and then we store the value of x and y to y, and then we call the y. So here we are going to get 15 as our output. Did I save the program? Okay, so we have in my test. So we are calling my test like that. Okay, so sorry, we are supposed to close this one before. So this one you are calling it outside the function, not within the function. Sorry about that. So here we run and then we get 15, which should be let me try to extend this one. I think it's small. So that's 15. Okay, so guys, so that's global variable. So so that's just it. So that's just it. Just know the difference between a local and a global variable. One is declared within the function, global variable is declared outside the function. Static scope. So static scope or static variables is when, for example, you have a variable, a local variable, and remember when a function is completed, all the variables are normally deleted. So but sometimes you may want sorry, you may want not to delete a variable. So what will happen is that you can use the keyword static to mean that that variable, once the function is completed, you don't delete it. It doesn't get deleted automatically. So that is the use of static keyword. You may have, if you are coming from C, C++, Java, you may have come across the word static. Static means something that does not change. So basically here it means that that variable will not be deleted. And a good example is this. So here we have okay. So here we have this. So sorry, it should not be this way. So here we have something like this. So what we have in here is that we declare a variable here. So we define x is 0, and then we want to print the value of x, and then increment what is printed afterwards. So this one, x plus plus, is an increment value. In other words, you're going to increment x, which is 0, from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, like that. Now it gets incremented when you call this function 3 times. So 3 times means 0, 1, and 2. But now see, we are placing what? The keyword static. So that means this variable here is not going to be deleted automatically. Remember, it is within the function, so this one becomes a local variable. So when we save and run, what will happen here is that we are not, you see, the first one doesn't get deleted, the second one doesn't, it gets incremented, that is from 0 to 1 and then to 2. So we have our data as it is, that is as it is from the original place, which is from 0. But now, for example, if we removed this static keyword here, okay, so we remove the static keyword, let's see what happens here. You can see, so we are only getting the 0, 0, and 0. That means the variable doesn't get incremented. Okay, it gets incremented, sorry, but since we have not replaced the keyword static, so it means the variable gets deleted. So that's why we need to have the keyword static to maintain our original data. I think that's all within the static scope. So what about parameter scope? Remember, we are looking at the different types of PHP variable scopes. We have said we have local, global, and static, and then the last one is parameter scope. So parameter scope is simple, it's just the parameters you pass within your function, and then you call that function with that defined parameter. So in this case here, we are just passing parameters are declared in a parameter list as part of the function declaration. So if you have come from other programming languages, you already know this, it's very simple. So what we do when you are making a function, you may want to pass a parameter here. So here is where we pass what we refer to as the parameter here. So that's what we pass. In this case, we are passing x, and then we are printing x within our function. And then once we print x, we now we call the function, and then we pass whatever we want to pass in our parameter. So x is here, and then we pass my test with 5. So that now becomes so for example here, you can have x, and let's say you have y, let's say something like that. And then here it means here you're going to pass x and 8, something like that. And then let's say here you want to come and print the 2, so it is only printing the first one, okay, because we need also to call the second one. So here you can have something like this one, and then like that. So that's what we refer to as parameters. So you can see that's 58. So because we are passing 58, you can also have something like I believe you can also have, this is x and y, so you can have something like z, and then z equals to the value of, that is x, sorry, that's x with the, and then you can have y like that. So now here we have x, that is x plus y, and then we want to echo the, so here it means we want to echo the value for z. So we have something like that. So here we echo the value for z, so x is equals to x plus y, something like that. Let's see. So the value, which is 13. So basically that's what we do with parameter. We just pass the parameter, and there when you're calling a function, you pass whatever you want to pass within. Now this one happens mostly when you are creating big programs. If you have seen my other tutorials, which you may want to check out if you are new to this channel, first you can subscribe to this channel if you like this content, and then go and look for PHP tutorial, not PHP, sorry, Laravel tutorials. I've done bigger projects whereby we have used functions, we have passed parameters and so forth, so you may want to check that and understand. So that's how we use parameters. Now we have PHP print statements. So we have two types of print statements in PHP. So here we have PHP echo and print statement. So what do the two do? Now we have been using echo so far. So echo is fast and print is slower, and in PHP we normally use echo most of the time. So echo can output one or more string, but print can only output one string and always returns one. So you just need to know that. That's why we are using echo in our case here. Remember, we can still use print. So remember, we can still use print like that, and it still does the same thing. So but we are using echo because echo is fast in PHP, and when you come across any PHP tutorial or any PHP project, you'll find echo being the most used print statement. So in PHP we have echo and print. Now I don't need to do this one for you. This example just illustrates how you can print multiple string using echo, unlike print. Alright, so let's look at PHP arrays. So what are PHP arrays? Remember, we are going to have this tutorial in my website, Web Dev Trainee. So Web Dev Trainee here, I'll leave this website below the comment section. You click the link and go and learn this tutorial if you want to read it well. Maybe I may be going fast, but just bear with me. I don't want the video to be longer. So PHP arrays. So what are PHP arrays? So PHP arrays are, you have dealt with arrays. If you are coming from another programming language, arrays are popular. So arrays store multiple values in one single variable. So you can have an array and it is storing multiple values in just a single variable. For example, this is a good example here. So let me just copy it. So here we have something like cars. Cars is the variable, and then cars, which now is an array, stores all these different types of cars. So that's the definition for array. It is just a variable which has multiple values. Okay, so and then we're using echo to print the particular values that are within our array. Now, one thing you need to know, for example, when you look at echo I like cars 0, this one tells you that we are using the 0 index to access the first value within our array. Now, you need to know that arrays start from 0, if not, array starts from 0, so the count is from 0 and forward. So we count from 0 and we go forward. So now for us to access Volvo, we need to indicate it as 0 index. So the 0 index accesses the Volvo, the cars 1 accesses BMW, and cars 2 accesses the Toyota position. That is the position where Toyota is. So if I can have, for example, another type of car, let's say I have Mercedes. Okay, that's the spelling. Okay, Mercedes. That tells you here I will have, okay, sorry, it should not be there. That tells you, for example, I have Mercedes here, so let's have that one. That tells you now here I'll need to have for example, cars like that, and then this is 3. Then here I'm having something like that. So we have cars, and then am I missing anything? So I like this car, I like, and so I think here we need to have an AND statement here, and then here we are going to have that. Okay, so let me see, and then sorry, we are going to have so here I'm going to have something like that. Let me see. Alright, so okay, so I just added Mercedes. Okay, so there was just some formatting, but what you need to do, you just need to add, for example, Mercedes, and then Mercedes will be on the index position of 3. So 3 will be able to access Mercedes, and then here you just format this text. Okay, you just need to format the string so that, for example, this one I like, and then here we have, for example, comma. So comma is within this quotation, and then cars, which is on 1, so 1 is for BMW, and then since it is a variable, so we are using these dot signs, and then comma again. So this one represents comma, and then the variable, and then this one is comma again, and then cars, and then full stop, which is within the string, since they are part of strings. So that now when you save this project and run it, this one should be the output that you should get. I like Volvo, BMW, Toyota, and Mercedes. So this is how you should. So just copy the program. I'll put it on the link description below so that you can go and check it out and use it. So what I can do here, since I've just made this one anew, I can just find a notepad within my computer and just copy, and then I'll put it on the website. So just go and check on it and see what you can get from. So I'll just, so that it doesn't go away. Alright, so okay, so now what else do we need to look into? So we have looked at PHP arrays. Now we have declared an array. So we have the variable, and then the array, and then the multiple values within that given array. Now in PHP we have 3 types of arrays. We have index arrays, associative, and multidimensional. Now index arrays are arrays with a numeric index, and we have already dealt with some. For example, look at this example. So you can see these are the numeric. So these are the numeric. whereby you're using the numeric values to access whatever is in the array, is in an array. So we have associative arrays. So these are arrays with named keys. So this type of arrays are arrays which have the named keys. For example, they have the key value pair, whereby we have a key and then a value. And then multidimensional arrays are arrays containing one or more arrays. So these ones are arrays within arrays. So you can have more than one array within another. So what are the index arrays? So index array are the ones, they can be in two ways. For example, you can have it this way and you can also have it this way. However, I like it this way, just like we had just done in our example. And the example we have just done is typically an example of an indexed array, whereby we have the array defined with the variable, and then here we are accessing the array using our a numeric value. So that's what is there with indexed array. We have already done this one, so let's just look at associative arrays. So associative arrays are arrays that use named keys that we assign to them. So you can have a name and then a value. So this is very simple. So they can also be in two ways. They can be this way or they can be in this way. So let's just use this way since the one I like. So here you have something like that. Forgot to put our PHP. So this is how we define PHP in the tags, and then let's just close that one. So now here you can see we have the variable age and then the array and then the name. These are what we refer named keys, and then we have the value. So the name and the value, name, value, like that. So this is what we refer to as indexed. This is what we refer to as associative arrays. So that's how associative arrays are. So we can have something like we can access the array using something like this. So we can have associative, for example, echo Peter is age. So age is the variable, and then Peter is the first element within the array, which has the name and the value. So we are accessing the name, which is Peter, and then we are using the variable age with the named key Peter, and then we are saying age of Peter. So what is the age of Peter? So Peter is, so the string already is here, Peter. So we have already said Peter, and then age and then Peter. So Peter has 35, is 35 years in short. So Peter will access the value. So we are using the name to access the value for Peter, and then now this one is just a string for us to finish up with the statement. So this one says Peter is 35 years old. So that is it. So we just access them that way. So we access them that way. So that is what we refer to as associative arrays. Now associative arrays are used, you'll find them in your bigger programs, whereby you use, for example, to access particular post within a particular website, that is within a blog website, for example. So you use associative arrays to do such things. You can also use them on the objects. I've seen them mostly in Java. For example, you use Java to access, sorry, not Java, JavaScript. So whereby you make an associative arrays and then you use the object to access the particular array values. Okay, so what are multi-dimensional arrays? So these arrays contain another array as value. So in other words, we can have multiple arrays within our given array, that is within, we can have more than one array. So you can see this is a good example here, whereby we have something like this, whereby we have a given array which is lying on top of another array. So we are having something like a two-dimensional array, whereby we have cars as the defined variable, and then we have the array, and then we have the different types of arrays which holds, for example, different cars. So we have Volvo, and then maybe Okay, I don't know this one really means what, but probably it's different. Okay, maybe there are different number of cars, maybe 196, BMW 6059, Toyota 110 and 100. So basically this is what referred to as multi-dimensional array. So these are type of a two-dimensional array. So here we have different arrays within a given array. So how do we print this one? So for us to print this one, to print multi-dimensional array, we use the print R. Print R is also a statement within PHP. So here we are going to use the print R function, and then now we call the variable. So here we call a variable, not call, but we insert our variable cars, and then here we are going to have our variable. So now I want you to take note of something here. You can have this array 0. Now array 0 is starting from here, the first array. So look at this one. Now remember we have this array, which is this one here. This is the first one, which is 0. So all of it is 0 because this one is the main array. Like we can say it's the array that is outside. Then we have now the three types of array. That is, we have the three arrays, not types. So we have 0 index, first index, and second index. So when you look at here, we have the 0 index, which has the Volvo on index 1, 100, 2, 96, and then now we go to the next array, which is 1. So 1 stands for, now we have BMW 60, 2, 59. Now we have the second array, which is this one, which is now 0, 1, 2. So we have the 0. Okay, this one is the outside, which is 0 generally, and then we have the 0, and then we have the 1 array, and then here we have the this is thing confusing. Okay, so we have the 0, and then we have the array of the first one. Second one is we have 1, and then we have the array like this, and then we have this final array, which is 2, and then the array 0. So the array 0 should be this one, yeah. And then the top array is the one that is representing the increment, like 0, 1, and 2, like that. Alright guys, so that is it on arrays. So just check them, try more examples. I'm going to give you examples, exercises for you to try out and see if you have gotten that concept. Now the other concept is for each loop. So how do we implement for each loop? Now for each loop is very important in any programming language, especially where it is used, because you can we highly use for each to loop over, for example, different array elements and print them on our web browser. So here array works, for each loop works on arrays and is used to loop through each key value pair in an array. So what happens here, for example, look at this syntax here. You can see here is that we have array and value. So what happens is that when the code is being looped, when you are looping over a particular array of elements, what will happen is that the current array element will be assigned to value. So we have array and then the value. So the value will bear whatever will be looped over, and then it will be stored on the value, so that if you want to access that particular array of elements, you just have to call the value. For example, you have seen whereby we have for each, and then post is post. So the post is the one that is going to store the different, when you loop over a particular post, and then post stores those particular array of value of elements within the post variable. And then if you want to access, for example, let's say it was image, it was title, it was, let's say you are making a business website, it has a company, so you are able to loop over those different array of elements, and then they are stored within post. So remember here you can have something like post is post, right? So here let's look at an example for you to understand. So look at this example here. So we have something like so here we have something like this. So we have okay, so what we have here is that let me format this one. So we have an array, a variable declared within an array, and then 1 2 3. So now we want to loop over this particular array of elements. So how do we do it? Now we use for each, and then we say x, which is the variable, as value. Now what is going to happen is that as this for each loop loops over this particular array of elements, what is going to happen, the next current array element or whatever will, or what happens is that when we are looping over this particular array of elements, this value keyword is the one that is going to store 1 2 3, and such that if you want to access the particular array of elements, you are just going to call the value. So that's what happens basically here. So the x is the variable that stores our array of elements, and then value is to access and to store whatever we loop over using this for each loop. I think that is easy to understand, so that now when we print this program, we're just going to have the 1 2 and 3 array of elements. Alright, so PHP conditional statements. So conditional statements are very popular in any programming language, whereby we have the if else, and else. So let's begin with the first one. So for example, the if statement is very simple. It's just if the condition is true, then the code is executed if the condition becomes true. So you can have example like this one. So here we have something like we are just defining a variable which is going to check the number of hours in a day. So here we are having something like so here we have the data of PHP. Let's check. No, so I think we may need this one like that. Oh, dead. Okay, so you can see here. Sorry, I'm just copying the same. Did we copy? Okay, so here we have okay, so here we have something like this. So here we have if, I don't know what is this one. So here we have if, and then here we have echo statement. So here we should have something like that. I don't know what is this. Okay, let me remove it. Okay, so let's also remove that one, and as well let's have that one there. There's something. Okay, I think it had some. So and then here we have, okay, so we have something like that. So okay, so t time, date, and then hours. So if time is less than this one, then have a good night. So that is simple. So it's just simple to understand. Okay, so I see we should not have echo with, should just be echo, should not be echo with have a good day. So it should not be echo with that $sign. So I think that was the issue. So the next one is we have PHP conditional, like the if else. So if else works with code to be executed if the condition is true, or else code to be executed if the condition is false. So if the first one is true, then it becomes executed. If the other one is not true, so it doesn't become executed. And now this one would be a good example. So else we can also have here we can have the else. So the else here, so here we have echo, then here says have a good night. So if the hours are less than 20, that is, if it's not day, we're going to have a good night. Sorry, I think, why am I forgetting this? So here we have that, and then here we have that, and then just pardon me, I think I'm trying to go fast. I think that's the thing. But here we have this one, and then we have a closing like that. So here, this one, so this one should be 1 like that, and then here we should be having it that way. Okay, so which one do you think will be? So still have a good day, because the first statement is true, like t is less than 20. So the first one gets executed because it finds the first one to be true. So that's what happens with if else. Now we can also have if else statement, whereby the code is to be executed if the condition is true, or else if the code to be executed if the first condition is false and this condition is true, else if all the conditions fail, then none will, that is, all of them will be false. So this is a very good example I came up with. Sorry. Now so you can have two variables declared. So here we have two variables, and then if a is greater than b, so b is bigger than a is bigger than b, that is simply 10 is greater than 12. So 10 is not greater than 12, so that statement is false. Else if a is equals to b, a is not equal to b, so that means this statement is not going to be printed. But now when you look at the last one, a is neither greater or equal to b, that is true, because neither of them is bigger than the other. Oh, sorry, not bigger, but the first statement doesn't qualify because a is less than 12, and that is 10 is less than 12, and then 10 is not equal to 12. So the last one, 10 is neither greater nor equal to 10, which should be our final answer. So 10 is neither greater or equal to 2. So that is the last statement becomes executed. So you can go and try out different examples and see, do some more exercises, and you'll be good to go with if statements. Now we have PHP functions. So PHP functions, we have already dealt with PHP function. So basically what we have PHP user defined functions. So in other words, we can create our own functions and use them. Now, for example, remember that example we had whereby we defined, we had something like yeah, you can see here we had function myTest. Now myTest is a user defined function because we are defining the function and assigning it a name for us. So so this is what we refer to as user defined function. So that is it with user defined function. So basically that is all about functions. So what you need to know here, you just need to have, this is the syntax. So you just need to have the function name. So for example, here we have something like so here we have as we are just defined. So we have function, and then we have, remember we also said function can have parameters. So here we had said function and then myTest. So that's, we are now defining the function, and then here you can have, this is the code that you write. So you can use the single line comment. So this is the code you write within the function, and then here you can come here and call your function here. We said here you can pass a parameter. Example, remember when we talked about the x and then 5 here, and then here we can have something like echo the x, which is going to print for us the value of x. So basically something like that. So that's what we refer to as function. So you can define your function and then your code and then call. Now this is what we refer to as calling the function. That is calling your function, something like that, calling your function. And here we are calling my test, which is a defined, user defined. We have sorry, we have two types of in programming we have predefined and user defined. When you hear the word predefined, means it is already defined within. For example, when you come and type something like in PHP, let's say we type something like post variable, which we are going to look at. So here we have a $sign and then underscore, and then for example we type. Now all this, look at all these are predefined, meaning they are within PHP. You just need to know where to use them. So this is what we refer to as predefined. But user defined, for example, my test is a user defined, meaning I'm using it, I'm defining so that I can use it for a particular logic within my programming, that is within my language, whichever language you're using. Now let's look at get and post. So we are done with functions. So what is get and post? So get and post are very much used within PHP. So here is whereby you are able to okay, let's start with get. So get is a variable that is used to collect values in a form using the method get. So you have a form, it may be a contact form, and you want to collect the values from individuals or people come to visit your website. So how do we create such forms with PHP so that people can be able to submit data? We use get and post. So we are looking at get. So get is a method that is visible to everyone. In other words, whatever somebody fills within a form and you click submit, it will be displayed on the top. It will be displayed here. So get is not secure when you are using get. So let's look at an example. Let me have that example. So here we have something like this. So this is a simple form. So what this form does, it has the name and the age. So when I save and run, it's a simple form. So it just has the, let me try to minimize this one to look a little bit. Okay, so now you can see here we have the name and the age. So here we can fill the name, we can fill the age here. Now what will happen is that we are using the method, take note of this, get, for us to be able to collect any values from our form. So here you can have a name like Brian and age, let's say 28, right? And then I try to submit. So it should, now you can see when you're using method get, it records whatever you have input, which is not secure. This is not recommended. So that's why mostly we'll go for post instead of get. So that's how you construct it. So what you need to know is that you just need to have form action, and then we have the welcome.php. Now welcome.php is the file that is within our PHP server that is going to receive the particular values that have been filled by that particular user on your website. So what we have here, so what we need to do here, I need to have another file which says welcome.php, and then here, now I want to receive whatever I type on this. Now you can see so far it doesn't find the welcome.php. Now it finds, because we have just created right now. That's why now it is not bringing the previous error that you had seen. So the file can be found, but there's nothing. So we need to add some logic on the file. So what we can do here, you can see here. So let me copy this one and paste it here. So what we have here is that we have something like welcome, and then PHP echo get the first name, so get this first name within the form, and then PHP echo get the age, so get the age here like this, and then save. Now when you save and you come back to this one again, it should be able to pick whatever you had input. So welcome Brian, you are 28 years old. So that is what happens within PHP form collect. Now we can use post variable. So post variable does the same thing. It is used to collect values from a form and send with the method post here. But what happens here is that the information sent from a form with post method is invisible to others and has no limit on the amount of information sent. So these are two advantages. The information sent in the form is invisible to others, so other people cannot see. So that means, look at the get here, you can see here it still shows you the first name is Brian, age is 28. Now with the post you are not going to have that, so that tells you that post is secure. And then another thing is that you can have a post max size in your php.ini.file, which we are going to look at as we advance. You can set a particular size of your file. You find that there's a time where it comes whereby you have a lot of data within your PHP website, and you want to extend the file upload, for example. So you may have to extend or to increase the size of your file. So this is what happens. So with the post, there's an 8 MB max size for the post method by default, and can be changed by setting the post max size. So here for example, you have something like post max size, and then you just have to come, let's say, somewhere here. But this one should be done on the PHP ini file, and then you just say, let's say I want a 1024. I want something like 1024 MB. So it means that you can now use you increase the size of your file. So that is what we refer to as it has no limits on the amount of information sent. Now here I need to come and change this one to post like that, save this one, and then here, since I'm using the super global, this is a super global within PHP, so here I just need to change this one to, okay, so let me have it this way. So let me do it this way. VS Code has a way for you to pick the two of them. So what I may do here, I'm just going to now create this one with the post variable here like that. So remember here we have used the method get, and then now if I come back here and I try to submit the form, okay, so let me refresh. I should refresh the form. So let me try again. So Brian 28, and then I submit. Now you can see here there's no, like with get there was then the first name and the age. Here there is no. So post is secure, and it's recommended you use post when you are sending your files. So I think, guys, that's all for PHP Basics. So I have this exercise, so you can find it in my website. The link is in the description below, and then use this, go and try it out and post your answers either in the comment section, but I prefer post them in my website and I'll be able to check them out. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, subscribe to this channel, and like, share it with your friends, and I'll catch you in the next tutorial. Thank you guys.